A regular pentagonal prism of height 60 mm and base head 30 mm given, rests on HP. A vertical face close to VP inclined at 30 degree to VP. So draw the development of truncated prism with its truncated surface inclined at 60 degree to its axis and bisecting it. Bisecting means exactly middle point we need to consider. Okay. So first I'm going to draw an XY line, writing VPHP and Y. So here we need to construct a pentagon by considering a 30 degree angle line. With respect to that 30 degree angle line, so we need to place that our pentagonal prism. So take a reference point and mark for 30 degree and draw an angle line. Okay. So mention angle 30 degree. Okay, so here with respect to VP, close to VP and inclined at 30 degree. So now edge 30 mm we have to consider. So take 30 mm from the reference point. Okay, so take protector and mark for 72 degree. We know that as external angle of pentagon it is 72 degree it is. So draw a line of length 30 mm passing through that angle point. Same way we have to do it for this side also. Keep the protector in such a way that and mark for 72 degree and draw a line of length 30 mm passing through that point, because here pentagonal prism having a dimension of 30. Okay, so now take the protector and cut the arc of 30 mm. So cut the arc. So we have constructed a pentagon here. So you can show the dimension on one side, dimension of 30 mm. So you can mention the naming because it is in prism having both faces, top face and the bottom face. So we can mention the naming here. Okay, so A1, top face A, B, C, D, top face, bottom face E1, B1, C1, D1 and E1. So that is not visible from the top face. So now we have to find out the center of the axis. So to find out the center of the axis in the prism, so we need to draw the perpendicular bisectors here. Perpendicular bisectors. So exactly passing the middle point. So from all these corners, so we need to draw perpendicular bisectors. So perpendicular bisectors will be drawn exactly from corner to the opposite middle point, opposite edge middle point we need to draw. Okay, we get center of the axis of this pentagonal prism. So now we will project it upward. Okay, to complete the front view of this. So draw the projection lines. Okay, from all the ends you can draw the projection lines. Okay, here line of length that is 65 mm. So we can 60 mm it is, sorry. So draw an axis for 60 mm. So all the edges will be having the same length of 60. Okay. Okay. So you can mention the namings for the top face and bottom face. can see here exactly in the axis point I think missed. So axis line we get it here. Okay, that is your edge point E1 dash. So we will dark that. Okay, now we are getting exactly O1 dash and O dash. Okay, now from the now we can show the dimension of 60 mm. Can show here. Now we have to consider the angle of inclination 60 degree. Exactly bisecting means exactly half, middle point of the axis we have to consider, middle of the axis. Middle point means if it is 60 means we should consider 30 mm. We should consider exactly 30 mm. Okay, so you can show the dimension here. So now here in this question the axis will be having inclination of 60 degree, that is truncated surface, that is from that axis we need to consider an angle of 60 degree. Okay, so this here it is a tricky question. Okay, from that axis point truncated surface we need to consider an angle of 60. Okay, so little bit different. So we can show the angle, you can show from the axis to the truncated surface, that's what the angle here. So you can mention the naming now. So where the section plane is cutting it. Okay, 1 2 3 4 you can mark it. So with respect to these points we need to draw the development of the truncated prism here. Okay, so you can just measure the length from the top surface. So 1 1 we can cut it on A, then 1 2, so from that is the length 2 from the B we need to cut, and the length of 3 we need to cut it on C. Okay, length of 4 we need to cut it on D, and length of 5 we need to cut it on E. So with the help of a compass we can measure the length and cutting the reference point. So you can mention the naming 1 2 3 4 5 and 1. So now you can join all these points with the help of a scale using straight line. Okay, dark the truncated cut portion, the remain cut portion, we should dark it. Okay, so that completes the problem. So in this problem we have to construct the development of the pentagonal prism. You can see in this first we have to construct a pentagon of dimension 20 mm and axis height 50. So it is resting with one of its rectangular faces parallel to VP. Okay, so first here I'm going to construct a pentagon with respect to the lateral face parallel to the XY line. First I'll be drawing XY line here. So XY line thickness I'll be considering 0.13. You can, as I mentioned, you can consider 0.25 also, no problem. You can mention XY, VP and HP because we are considering a first quadrant. So mentioning of the XY and VP HP is important because you need to mention in which quadrant you are doing it. Okay, we are doing in the first quadrant. Now I'll be constructing a pentagon with respect to the, so lateral face should be parallel to the XY. So I'll go to the polygon by center. I will type 5 sides and then I will keep the pentagon with respect to the lateral face parallel to the XY. Now I will go to smart dimension, select the parallel edge, and now I will change the dimension, type 20, enter. You will get the pentagon of dimension 20. Select it, select the whole pentagon and place it properly where you want. Okay, now we can give the naming for this pentagon like as it is there in the solution book, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, now we draw the projection lines. Okay, and we draw the perpendicular bisector. At least we draw 3 perpendicular bisector to find out the center of the pentagon here. Okay, projection lines we have to draw here from all these points. Okay, now we have to draw the front view of it. So first I will be drawing an axis for a length of 50 mm, then all the vertical edges I will be drawing for the same length. Okay, now we are getting here a rectangular face in the front view, so you can join it. Show the dimension for this front view. Okay, now I can mention the naming for the front view, that is A dash, same way we are mentioning it for the front view, so you can mention it. Okay, so now we have to draw an section plane, the section line. So it has to be at the top extreme corner of the pentagon, and it has to have angle of 30 degree with respect to the axis here. Okay, so if you give minus 150, it will not take, it will take from the corner end for the top face, but we should make sure that section line, it has to be have angle 30 degree with respect to the axis. Okay, for that I will be drawing one section line from the corner, then I will give the angle with respect to the axis. Okay, just see that. First I will draw a straight line, then after that I will give the angle. Okay, now I will measure the angle and I can change it. So I am getting here 38, I will type it to 30. So now you can see that, so we have drawn a section plane exactly at the right extreme corner point, and it is having an angle of 30 degree with respect to the axis. So that upper part I will be making as thin line. For that I will be using a split command. Okay, using the split command I can split it. Okay, so it will be easy for us to make the upper part thin. Okay, by selecting the lines I will be making thin line. Okay, now we have to give the numericals, that is 1 to 3, where we have actually done the cutting. Okay, this point it is 1. Now you can see it is not exactly falling on the vertical edge of A, so that's why I will be drawing a projection line downward here, so that I will be getting the one point where it is exactly cutting in the top face. Okay, zoom in, you will get the exact point, and draw a straight downward line. Okay, this is where you are getting a 1, and 2 you are getting exactly on the vertical edge B. Okay, three you are getting exactly on the vertical edge C, and 4 also getting on the D. Okay, and for the E also you are getting exactly on the E point, vertical edge. Another point we are getting, that is point number 6. Okay, the point number 6 we are getting in between E and A. Okay, in between E and A, I am denoting it. Okay, now using split command I am going to get the length of from A to 1 and A to 6. Okay, you have to split it exactly. Okay, you can split it and then measure the dimension. You have to split it here. Okay, and see here there is intersection of these two lines over there, that's why. So I'm not able to get it properly, but you try it by zooming it, you can get the exact point. And zoom in and check the dimension for it, but in the solution book they have mentioned wrong. Okay, this is what the actual length you will get. In solution book, in some of the part they have done mistake, so you can rectify in these problems, you can correct it. So cut it properly using a split command. I'll be selecting that vertical edge and then zoom it and click. So you'll get the exact point. It's not 10 mm, it is 11 point something you'll get. But in the solution book they have mentioned 10 mm. It's not the exact 10 mm. It is more than that. Okay. So this is what he has shown in the solution book, but that is not correct, because it is cutting exactly more than the half of it. You just see that projection line which has been coming downward. It is 11 point something. In the solution book they have done the mistake here. It's not 10 mm, it's more than that, and that is also not 3.83. it is about 4 you will get, about more than 4. Okay, so you have to do the splitting correctly and then you can check it. When you do the solution you will get the exact answer. Okay. Okay, this line I will select. Now I'm going to split it exactly where it is cutting it. Sometimes by trying so many times you will get the exact solution. Okay, so it is 11.3, it is not 10. Okay guys, remember it, it's not 10 mm, it is 11.3. Okay, now we draw an parallel line. Okay, from that point we will be drawing a parallel line. I will be drawing a vertical edge. Now using offset command, I'll be drawing 5 lines of this. Okay, 6 lines totally, 5 faces. Okay, use offset command, give distance of 20 mm because pentagon having dimension 20. So type 20 and enter, click, you will get the 5 faces. Okay, you can mention the naming for it. It is in capital ABCD, you can mention it. ABCDEA. Okay, now we have to mark the first point 1, but first point 1 it is not exactly falling on the vertical edge, it is at a distance of 4.32. So I will go to the arc by center point, and I will measure the distance of 4.32 from the A point, and I will cut the arc 4.32. Okay, so for point 1 and 6 we need to cut the arc. Other than that 2, 3, 4, 5 we are getting on the vertical edges. Okay, it is easy, just by projecting a horizontal line you can get all the points. Now you can see that point number 2, just by projecting horizontal line you get it on the vertical edge B here. And then point 3 you get it on the vertical edge C at the top extreme corner, just mention 3. And the point 4 you get it on the vertical edge D here. And point 5 also you can get it on the E point here, vertical edge G. Just project the horizontal line from that point. Okay, now from the point number 6 we have to cut the arc for 11.3 here. So go to arc by center. Measure the length of 11.3, type 11.3 and give enter, and enter. Okay, this is your point number 6. Now we have to connect all this 1, 2, 3, 4 with the straight line. Using straight line we will go to connect this. So join all these 1, 2, 3 point numericals, okay, with the straight line. So connect all these points with the thick line, and the upper part, okay, the upper part we have to make it thin by selecting it. Some of the lines it is directly selected, we can select it and make it thin, and some of the lines we need to split it. Okay, however it is there in that solution book, we are doing the same way. Okay, so I'm going to make those lines as thin lines by selecting 0.13. Then these two vertical lines I'm going to split it by splitting them, so I can make them thin here. So this completes the problem. You can subscribe for the channel and hit on the bell icon for the latest notification, and share it to the maximum students so they get benefited.